Jared Rosen here. Welcome to Celestial Conversations from Chaos to Clarity. I will be your astrology host for this week for these upcoming transits. We're looking at a Mercury Cazimi this week. We're looking at Venus coming into Cancer, going to square over to Neptune and Saturn over in Aries. And finally, that last week of Mars in Virgo. Bye-bye. We'll get to that. But first, I want to say this is that show where I do it so that we can just use the astrology to kind of like find our way through what can be a lot of projected chaos, out in the world, franticness, craziness. But we don't have to connect to that frequency on an individual level. We can connect with our own. And so this is all about rising above the chaos and seeing like through the storms, seeing through what the malarkey is, and actually finding our way and seeing that this is actually really beautiful time to seed some really awesome intentions for where we want to go for more of our long term. We've got all these outer planets in their new signs for the time being, and so we can get a head start, on some things that we want to create, we want to manufacture, we want to, put our best foot forward, because otherwise it could feel like kind of getting drug around by the undertow a little bit, maybe when Saturn and Neptune come back into Pisces. And so it's really beautiful astrology right now. I mean, it's all the outer planets making friendly aspects to each other. It's unprecedented. We still have that Pluto and Aquarius making sextiles over to that Saturn, Neptune that are retrograde in Aries, and also making that trine over to Uranus and Gemini. So I think that these harmonious aspects allow us to find a way to move forward, but we got to be careful about shooting ourselves in our own foot, making sure that our thoughts, our frequency, the timeline, if you will, that we're connected to actually feels like a higher vibrational one that feels very like forward thinking and not getting too lost into the uncertain terrain of these things. So I will say that we did just have Chiron go retrograde today, so it could take some of the sting out a little bit. I think the wound, like kind of like being on the outside of things, like it's the soul fragmentation work where it can feel like something splintered off and we're not whole, we're not our full identification. We've been going through this since 2019. It's really nothing new. It's almost like we've gotten used to it, and it can almost feel like, that bump that we thought was a zit that's just a mark on the skin now, and it's just there, but it's less noticeable. The sting isn't there as much. It can feel more internal with it being retrograde now, and it will be for the next few months. And so I think moving forward can get a little bit easier. Like, it doesn't have to be as sensitive, the actions, the movements that we're taking going forward into this continued uncharted territory. Now, this is that last week of Mars that's going to be in Virgo, and it's been here with the South Node. So it's that loser energy. It's that Virgo energy of the athlete. It's like Michael Jordan all of a sudden can't even hit the rim, type feeling. But ultimately, it is an illusion. Like it's just like it's mental traps of Virgo. It's getting lost in the mundane nature of things. It's that North Node of Pisces trying to like really reach for the spiritual connection. So it can feel easy to like slip into like not feeling that spiritual connection, or having to really consciously choose that with the free will, with that Neptune in Aries with Saturn, that it kind of takes a deeper sense of devotion than maybe what we're used to, where it was Neptune and Pisces, and just can roll out of bed and get the intuitive message. It's just a little bit like different now, and that can be frustrating, right? Aries energy can definitely bring up anger, frustration. Why aren't things like moving forward in the way that the ego expects it to? And that's even more evidenced by Mars, that ruler of Aries, that's over there at that South Node that last week. So I just want to say, hang on tight, try not to stress. It's not the most ideal time for just day-to-day work assignments and daily routines and systems and things just like working out, and it'll still be that way for about another year with the South Node here. And so by the end of the week, we will see Mars finally leave and get into Libra, and I'll talk more about that next week. But I do want to make mention of Venus coming into Cancer. It is going to square over to that Saturn, Neptune, and Aries. So we can't really get too comfortable with that transit. It's going to bring up the blind side of laziness and just, trying to apply the idea of like, hey, this too shall pass. There's actual steps that we actually have to take in our spiritual evolution to like dig deep into our emotional realm, our emotional, foundation of where we want to be comfortable. We want to initiate more comfort. This could be also around our relationships, around prosperity. But there's decisions that we have to make, and these are decisions that are made from within. This is about choosing a spiritual alignment in our frequency, in our being. That there's no perfect handbook. There's no playbook for it. I mean, there's obviously the playbook of people's astrology. It's like I can pull up someone's astrology and give those unique steps that are divinely timed on things that they can do to align their frequency. But at the end of the day, like, we're in such a highly individual level right now of like which vibe that we're choosing in the spiritual expression of ourselves. Like I don't think there's anything that can be given right now that's going to be like, here's the perfect, roadmap going forward, especially Mars, South Node, and Virgo. So it's more of the encouragement to like not fall for the mental traps, not fall for the stress, and to see that these things that take us down, these illusions, whether it's like feeling like stuck or in a gap period or in a void, there's always an opportunity to choose a frequency alignment there. And it's not about just being like happy-go-lucky, like it's all good. It's more so about like going like, okay, I'm feeling and I'm experiencing this thing right now, and how to get back into an alignment with something that feels more rooted in the spiritual sense of ourselves. Now, I do like, even with that square, that Venus is coming into a feminine sign and Mars is leaving a feminine sign and going into a masculine sign of Libra, because I think there's been maybe an overemphasis with that Mars, South Node, Virgo, just like too much masculine energy. It can be really seductive, prone to trying to do too many activities. It's even the dark side of self-development, self-improvement. Like, oh, I'll go out and I'll change all these things and get the perfect, well-oiled machine, being me, the sense of self, and then I'll be better. But that it's not even like based upon, like, it's prehistoric thinking. It's not even rooted in the soul. It's like just going out and watching all the horoscopes, reading the self-help books, like it's like going and just like trying to piece everything together. That's like, oh, like this will, make my life better. It's got to come from that intuitive place now. It's got to come from the soul. And if anything, I'd say even better than the perfect, how to do XYZ things to make life better, make reality better, feel better, feel more comfortable. It's going in, and instead of like trying to just add all these things or subtract these things that are going to make things better, and trying to figure it out with the mind that cannot figure it out with that Mercury that is retrograde and that Cazimi point I'm going to mention here in Leo, it's not something that we can really figure out rationally speaking. It's like having to sit with the light and the shadow on more of a soulful level. That's kind of like, we can't really ignore the patterns, the patterns that come up for us, and to just really face that. I think this is a really good time for mirror work, connecting through the eyes, the soul, given that 5 minutes in the mirror. And it's not even performative, right? To like get the game face on or something like that, to go out and face the world, because our vibration is authentically speaking for us now. It's more about like connect with what's real, see what's fading away, say bye-bye to it, like being okay with that. I do think that this Mercury Cazimi that is happening is a positive thing for more unique perspective and insight on how we can actually have more fun, more enjoyment, be more courageous and heart-centered and all the positive like Leo things. But it's going to hit different for everyone depending on their chart, their sign. It's not really aspecting anything else in the astrology, so there's a lot of like, I think it's just letting people, it's just like giving like feedback from the universe of the different levels of a spiritual performance that people are at, like on their journey. Like, hey, here's your next clue, here's your next message. And so I would say really from now until the 31st, really paying attention to what those messages are, because there's an opportunity there to go into that, to go into like going, okay, what are the things that are coming up that could even just seem like a quick thought, but there's a level of clarity around it that feels, I would say it's going to be probably on the inspirational side. It's Leo. It's going to be more inspiring, more creative, like the things that we could do to ignite our spark, to that life-giving energy. So I think it's going to be thoughts and, you know, this kind of like soulful messaging understanding that stands out from our everyday, you know, thoughts, just about the things that we're doing and the basic things that we're taking care of. I think this is a great time to like really create structures in our lives that are just like devotional, spiritual, to just like give an opportunity throughout the day to like create some continuity with our frequency, because like there's so much like going on above. There's stuff that we're shedding, there's stuff just like that's playing out. And so how we respond to it, the outlook, like the demeanor, like in things, and like what we're doing, like with all that, very much matters. It matters a ton. It's looking at it from the lens of, yeah, there's stuff going on in the world. There's people doing stuff. There's agendas and this, that, the other thing. And there's tech stuff. There's AI stuff. There's all the bandwagony stuff, you know. But at the end of the day, what that can amount to in a lot of ways is just the distraction that becomes this like push-pull, where it's like wanting to entertain and talk about all of it, and then like wanting to like pull away and detach from it and hermit from it, because it's like too much. It's too much information. So choosing our own frequency, you know, is really like a deep level responsibility that we have to go, yeah, I'm gonna have my mind be a tool for me, not like choosing every like bit of my reality, or, you know, going through the emotional processing, but like not assigning like negative labels or meanings to like what it means like going on currently in the reality. Like this is a very, I would call it kind of topsy-turvy like type week, and it's really just about like striking when the iron's hot, like when we feel that sense of inspiration to act on it. I mean, it's Leo season, so next month, well, I mean, we're almost in next month now, but it's like, I mean, later part of next month in August, Virgo season. You know, we finish out the summer with the sun in Virgo, but then the South Node's there. So it's like, I think it's worth celebrating this Leo energy, and don't be lame and celebrate it like Lionsgate style. Please don't get me started on that horse shit. I'm an astrologer, not a fad person that just makes stuff up that no one even knows like why they even call it that. Like it's not even rooted in any real astrology. And then even just the people that are like, we're in the Lionsgate portal, they're just giving the astrology that is happening. It's like there's nothing special happening. So, you know, I think these things sometimes in the spiritual community and just whatnot, it's just there to like confuse people, and it's like, are we celebrating the solstices? Did you celebrate the winter, the summer solstice the same way the Lionsgate? I think that's the kind of hypocrisy we gotta like pay attention to, because I would look at it like this. It's like, if it's like waiting for like some special event in life, like the Lionsgate or this event, or, you know, even these old like programming systems of like schedule, like the week to week, day to day stuff that South Node, Mars and Virgo, like, I can't wait to finish my job this week so I can get to the weekend and go like do this thing, go vacation. Like even that stuff is saying like, why live in that matrix program still? Like, this is where we create better stuff. It's going to be messy. It's not going to be perfect. Like, there's going to be like ruptures and like frustrations, but that's like bumping up against like the ego stuff, the ego, fear, control, survival stuff. And so it's really just the gentle reminder, even though the reactions can not seem gentle and it's going to be triggers with people and situations. It's just a reminder like, hey, that's where fear is still alive in the system, and that's the stuff that needs to be purged in order for a more tranquil, clear channel so that we can connect to, I'm going to say oversoul, with all these outer planets and this, the Aquarian and Uranus, Pluto energies of it all, to connect with a higher vibration of ourselves, because it is easy to like go into ego and just fight and push forward and just like take action right now. But like, that's like the old school like reaction, like the beaver building the dam for when the storm comes. And it's like the storm that's like it's like happening, it's like the unpredictable, that's the storm that's like washing away the old world, which, hallelujah, like it was creating too much suffering and indecisions as a soul collective, as a race, to decide like, where do we actually really want to go? Do we keep want to fight and be in conflict and wars and shit, and just tragedies and getting stuck on social issues that are, most of them are fake? And it's like, that's all getting like washed away. So it's like, why build the dam and like take actions to prepare for something that the only way to really prepare for it is to align with your best soul's frequency? And so that really like looks like getting clarity on like, if the constructs and the limitations of like what we're used to like having to deal with on a day-to-day basis like wasn't there, and we weren't playing small, and just like the stress response and survival based decisions of life, like what will we be creating? How will we create it? How can we step into our highest vibration of expressing that? And then any negative thoughts, behaviors, beliefs, trauma still stored in the central nervous system especially, those are the things that are going to be the inhibitors from actually like staying consistently connecting day to day in that frequency. And everyone's doing this together. Like, there's no one person that's just like got it all in some like perfect like hunky-dory alignment. And the days of, I made it to the summit and just here's my Rocky montage, I made it, there was no struggle, there was no challenge, that's not really there. I mean, if anything, it's the harmonious aspects of the outer planets are saying like, hey, it's like the positive stuff is in the spiritual side of things, and in communication and in community and trying new things, and not being afraid to use technology to like leverage these things, but like showing up, trying, like Aquarius, Uranus, it's experimentation, right? It's giving it a whirl. It's Pluto and Aquarius that's saying you got to get over the fear of like running the experiment. So it's very much an experiment in ourselves of like how we're showing up in the world, just how we're putting ourselves like out there in just every moment. So speaking of Uranus, if you want to get your hands on that Uranus special that I did, it's only $12. I did it for all 12 signs, sun, rising sign. Shoot me a message, drop a comment, I'll send you a link. Also have, of course, spots open for the full-blown, unique astrology readings for people that actually like want to get in and see what's really going on for them, and like build the structures and transformational elements in their life to make sense out of things on a more personal level. And then I'm still holding the legacy pricing of $297 for the higher self rising group coaching. I've got a couple of people that have said yes to that. I'm just waiting for a few more so we can have a little party. That's going to be the thing where you get some laser coaching from me each week and some other teachings as well. for that coaching container. So that's an opportunity for people that aren't maybe fully ready to dive in, invest, or there's a budget thing going on. With the 3 and 6 month private coaching healing containers that I do, that is a way to get involved in that as well. So yeah, at the end of the day, I mean, here we are. It's like a lot of my messages with people lately, it's like talking to people, and it's like, here we are, 2025. I mean, it's like, what else can you say? The unprecedented nature of it. I've never seen it be such a thing where people can be in such like wildly different places. And when I really step back and look at the astrology and think about it, it really just comes down to frequency. Which frequency are we plugged into at a given time? You know, it's like, and so having a good day, having a bad day, a good week, a bad week can literally look like just the conscious free will choice of like, what is it that we're choosing to believe and what frequency are we choosing to connect to? And it's like, if it's fear, if it's stress, if it's worry, if it's not being able to find like a greater spiritual meaning in things beyond just the day-to-day activities of just going through the task and the job and like the work stuff like that, that's where it gets really hairy, like really quick. And so it's really just about going up the step ladder of frequency after that, like Leo season, you know, inspiration, joy, fun, creativity. Like I've noticed that it can literally just be like, it can just be joy and just feeling good for the sake of it. And it doesn't have, you know, it's Mars South Node in Virgo. Like it doesn't have to be tied to an activity or an outcome, like a harvest of some perfect, you know, maturation of like the creative process. It's really just us exploring as a soul, like what is soulful to us. And like that is really like the thing that helps rise above the collective frequencies and issues. And so for those that actually want to, you know, take that deep dive into an astrology reading and actually look at where does that show up for you personally, like those areas of inspiration, or like you've got a creative project you're thinking about, or something career-based or relationship-based, like, you know, it's astrology. It doesn't really know any bounds. It covers all subject matters. Hit me up for that link. So appreciate you all. And what else? It's going to be August, so that means that the monthly sun and rising sign horoscopes I do for the full month ahead are coming out too. So watch out for that. That will be coming to a screen near you. Take care.